So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 things that I think beginner videographers and filmmakers need to pay attention to. 4 common mistakes that anybody who is interested in really getting into video, common mistakes they make that doesn't allow the quality of their videos and their productions to be up there in terms of visual appeal, quality, engagement, and so on and so forth. Let's dive straight in. So the first mistake that I think a lot of beginner videographers and filmmakers make is that they do not really know how to frame and compose their shots. I see photography, filmmaking, anything that involves using a camera, I see it as a form of art, as though you are trying to paint on a canvas. And if you look at any piece of art, every visual element in that artwork has its place, is well balanced, is balanced proportionately. And so you have to learn how to compose your image. Let it be clear from anybody watching the screen what the main subject is. So it's a good idea to learn about things like the rule of thirds and other similar framing techniques and composition techniques that will really elevate your photography. When I see a video, a documentary, a film, even if it's for social media, and I see the angle at which it was shot or composed, where the subject is placed, let's say in an interview, it really speaks to the quality of the image. So you need to be able to place your subjects in the right position in the frame. You need to make sure you're not cutting off anything that is important. You need to make sure that you are leading the eye of the viewer towards the main subject in the frame, whatever it is you're trying to compose. And this is where, like I said, techniques like rule of thirds comes in. And so there are several other techniques or other framing guidelines or things that will help you to improve your framing and composition. I'll list them on the screen, so you should pay attention to that. Next thing I want to talk about is camera movements or the lack of it. Now, one common mistake I see among a lot of beginner filmmakers, and I used to make this mistake a lot, was that I always felt like my camera had to be moving, and that ranges from camera shake to even gimbal shots. And I'll speak about the 2 aspects. Now, for camera shake, you have to make sure that you try as much as possible to eliminate camera shake, where the camera seems to be shaking in an uncoordinated fashion. It's so distracting, it can really put people off your video. But on the other side of that, sometimes people go ahead to buy gimbals. I used to invest a lot of money in buying gimbals. I have a couple of gimbals here. Like this is the Zhiyun Weebill S. I have a couple of other ones, and I realized that sometimes beginner filmmakers and videographers get so carried away with getting those smooth gliding shots, motion shots, especially if you're really into watching movies and music videos. Sometimes you get so carried away by all of those things, or just by the technology or the gadgets, and you think that every shot has to be moving, every shot has to have some kind of motion in it. And sometimes this can really take away from the story that you're trying to tell. There is something really powerful in just having your camera steady on a tripod or any other device. So you could have like something like this. If you're using your camera phone, for instance, this is a tripod for a phone camera. And there are other bigger tripods, of course, So there's really something powerful and mature about just keeping your camera steady on a tripod and let the thing you're filming tell the story. Don't let the camera motion distract the viewer's eye from the story that's developing. If you watch like Western movies, like Quentin Tarantino movies, like some of those movies where the frame just stays still and you just see what's going on, it just helps to keep your eyes focused on what is happening. So that is something that you need to take into consideration when you're beginning your filming, or if you're trying to improve your filmmaking career or your videography. Do not allow yourself to be carried away with gimbals and camera motion. Sometimes keeping a camera static does a lot more for storytelling than movement. And on the flip side of that, make sure that your camera is not shaking. If you're shooting handheld, practice holding your camera in such a way that the camera doesn't move. The third thing I think is thinking that audio is not important. Some have said that it contributes up to 50% to the overall quality of a video. I'm sure you agree with me that if you watch a video that has everything going right in terms of video quality, you're capturing it at 4K, high resolution, even if you're shooting in S-Log or any of those high formats, but the audio is crappy, it just kind of puts you off. And this is another reason why movies are so compelling, because movies are really, really all about sound. Imagine watching Game of Thrones without any audio and maybe just the voices. Imagine watching your favorite movie without the sound effects. It will not be as impactful or as memorable. So pay attention to audio, even if it's a short clip, even if it's a 2-minute documentary, a 5-minute documentary, or a vlog. Let your audio be nice and let it be rich. Let it be just as rich as the visuals. So apart from the voice that is speaking, let's hear the sound effect. Let's hear the sound of the cars passing by. Let's hear the sound of the birds and the trees blowing in the wind. Let's hear the sounds of your clothes rustling as you're putting them on. Whatever it is, sound design is very important. So if you really want to elevate your game as a filmmaker or videographer, pay attention to sound design. The last thing I'll say is a mistake that a lot of videographers and filmmakers make, and I'm talking about both beginners and even those who are no longer beginners, is that they focus too much on equipment and technology and techniques rather than on storytelling. I've done a video on this before. It's actually the most popular video on my channel that talks about focusing on storytelling. I think that if you really want to elevate your game, learn how to tell stories. And for the purpose of this video, keeping it short, I'll just give you a quick tip to incorporating storytelling into your video making. And that is, let your video have a structure. Let there be a well-defined beginning, middle section, and an end. You can keep it as simple as that. A 3-part story structure, an intro, a middle, and an end. So even if you're taking us on a tour of your school or you're doing a day in a live vlog, let there be an introductory part. Let there be something engaging that has a hook that draws people in. So if it's a daily vlog, it could be about a challenge you try to overcome that day, so that it's not just us following you from morning to night. There's nothing really going on, you're just watching you. I've seen videos like that, and funny enough, YouTube is a funny place. I've seen some videos where people just film themselves all day, nothing going on, no stories, and they get a lot of views. But I don't know, maybe they already have a large following from some other community. Otherwise, you find that those kind of videos are boring. But imagine you're doing a day in the life vlog, but you're linking it to something. So I saw another vlog the other day where a lady was showing her life, like a day in the life, but she was talking about a particular topic, and she was using the scenes in the video to help tell the story. And I also did a video, I'll put a link somewhere here, where I traveled to London and I showed how you can generate a story from footage, random footage that you capture. So I went to London and I captured random footage, but I was able to use it to tell a story about a particular challenge I had. So going back to the quick tips for making your videos more compelling by adding stories, apart from having the 3-part story structure, which is the introduction, the middle part, and the outro, you could also introduce a challenge that somebody tries to overcome, and let there be a character, a hero that is facing that challenge. It could be you, it could be something else. If you're talking about a challenge in society, let there be a character or a human angle or element to it that carries people through the story, so it's not just abstract. Make your stories emotional, add some emotion to it, add some reason for someone to smile or to cry or to think or to ponder. And by the time you do all this, you'll be making your videos more compelling. Your filmmaking will carry more weight. So that's it for the video. Just wanted to quickly drop this video, and I hope you're able to gain something. 4 common mistakes that beginner filmmakers and sometimes even advanced filmmakers make. Number 1 is composition and framing. Go and learn about composition and framing. Number 2 is camera movement. Try to keep your camera steady. You don't always need to rely on gimbals and camera motion. Sometimes keeping it on a tripod has more impact than moving all the time. 3rd point is audio. Make sure that your audio is clear, and not just that, make your audio rich. So study sound design. And the 4th thing is learn about storytelling. It will elevate your filmmaking and your videography. I hope you enjoyed the short video. I'll see you in the next one.